Carnivore day 54 already. So I wanted to today give you an overall baseline, what is going on health-wise with me before I started carnivore, what I did and how I hope that and what I hope carnivore will heal me. So let's just dive into it. I wrote even the right English words down, hopefully. So we are dealing with these 8 problems, let's say it like this. I have multiple sclerosis, 2 disc prolaps because of an accident. I do have Hashimote. I do have a very unknown pain on the left side. We are trying to figure it out. I cannot absorb iron and K2. I do have an IBS. I do have a histamine intolerance and I was overweight. So these are the things we're gonna address. First, MS. I make it short because I did already a lot of videos about it, but I have it since 2019. Every 2 to 3 months I go into the hospital because I had a lot of issues. So I'm always constantly on observation. I have a lot of doctors. They're looking into my blood. Every 6 months I get an MRT of my brain and my... I wrote it down. What's the name? Cervical spine. So there are the most lesions, the things that are broken, let's say it like this, and the things that are causing problems. So I'm in constant observation, and the problem is since 2019, it was growing, getting worse. My meds didn't help, so you have 3 baselines of meds. And the lowest with a least risk didn't work for me. It was extremely growing in a very short period of time and it's getting worse. Then the second one I was having started in December. It had major side effects. I was constantly ill. I had constant flu. It was feeling awful. That's when I started carnivore. I said, I'm not going to take these meds anymore. I went to my doctor, talked to her, and we quit my meds a few weeks ago. I'm feeling amazing. So the meds were killing me actually with the side effects. And she said, okay, we have now the newest MRT a few weeks ago. And it's still growing extremely. So she said we have to go to the highest point of meds, which are the highest risk, and that's not what I want to do. That's why I'm really hoping and putting my faith into carnivore, because going just into more meds and heavier meds is meaning for me to have my life to suffer after even now having so many side effects on meds. That's not what I want to do. So I did have all the various problems that you can imagine since 2019. Every 6 months, basically, I lost a lot of working of my legs and hands and these kind of things. So I'm not, if you're 100% when you're healthy, I'm around, I was at maybe 50, and with rehabilitation centers and different kind of things I was doing, I'm now 70-80% of the things that are working with my hand. You cannot really see it, but you know, I do have issues with my brain. Until the information got to my hand and to my leg, it takes longer. I had everything. I had, you will have problems breathing. I was having I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair. I had problems with my hands because the information didn't got to my hand, and that was the only thing I could do with my hand. And it was minutes later. So my brain and everything in my body just didn't work. I couldn't feel anything. You could put a needle into my heart, I wouldn't feel it. It was just, everything was numb. It was horrible. I had a lot of fatigue, which is like you're just losing it. It's not like you're just tired. Fatigue is really something completely different. Even if I'm exhausted and you just, you know, want to fall asleep and you just fall, you know, doing like this, fatigue is something completely different. Fatigue is really something you are just, you can drop down, you know, it's really different to explain if you never experienced it, but it's awful. So it really impacts our whole life. I was at a rehabilitation center. I had cold therapy. I did have a lot of different things. Since I'm coming also from working in a hospital, working also in a medical university, I do have a lot of people surrounding me, which are all doctors. So that's why I'm surrounded by different opinions. And my dad has cancer, and he had different and a lot of other health issues. So he did have different approaches with also different kind, which are out of this medical field, even with shamans and, you know, hypnotherapists and all these kind of things. So all around the world. So I'm really, really supported by a lot of medical knowledge, and everybody's trying to help me and giving me thousands and thousands of advices, what I have to take. And if I will do everything people tell me, I will just taking 100 of different kind of things, you know. And spend a lot of money. But I do spend only money on medical stuff, and also only on my dog, and also only on food. So I don't have really big hobbies. I don't spend much money on clothes or, you know, anything. So these are my two go-to where I spend the most money. So I did everything, believe me. I tried everything. I take everything. So basically I'm a walking experiment, unfortunately. I am a high-risk patient because of these things are happening. A lot of seizures, episodes, however you call it. It's happening very fast after another, and that's why most of the things are impacting me. I was lucky that my body, with the cortisone and the infusions you have, that is the only thing that can help you when you have an episode and it's really major. That I'm reacting very good to it, and my body recovers very fast from it, but it's getting lower. So every time I did have a seizure, it was taking more time. I do have 3 days and then I was good, but now I'm at 11 days and I wasn't good, and I had still things left from every seizure, which I'm dealing with right now. I also do know about all these kind of things that cost about 100,000 euros, also in Russia and in Switzerland. I do have people who went there and did this. You can die from it as well, but it also can help. I know everything about that. I know every alternative things about it. So, but there is always a chance that somebody opens a door and maybe something I didn't know. So you have the baseline about that. So that's basically it with MS. So you have the big picture here. My disc prolaps, I do have it in the cervical spine and lumbar spine because I did have an accident. I was doing extreme sports. I was doing boxing and Krav Maga. I was Muay Thai. Muay Thai is a form of boxing, kickboxing, let's say it like this. And Krav Maga is what usually police officers do, so it's a very, very rough sport. And I did it just because it's a kind of an energy, putting out energy if you have negative energy and a lot of emotions. That was my go-to, to have these, extreme sports, weightlifting, CrossFit, these kind of things, just in a very, very, I didn't do it like a lot, but at the time I was in a boot camp 2 months, and in Tenerife, and then also in Bosnia. So I was 3 hours a day, 2 months I was training. And in the beginning I had this accident with one of my trainers. He grabbed me and pushed me because he wanted to show others how you always have to be prepared being attacked. I wasn't prepared, and I had, here and here, I was just laying in, different kind of directions, but that wouldn't be that big of an issue. But I took pain meds constantly every day, hardcore pain meds, just to be able to train 3 hours and go through the pain, which is stupid. But at the time, that was my go-to. I was, just feeling it. I wanted to spend money. I did spend money on this boot camp, so I didn't want to, not to do it, and wasn't able to. So that's what made it worse. And then I couldn't walk anymore, and it was constant pain. It was just unbearable. So I went to so many different kind of doctors who just put me into cortisone injections and other pain injections directly where the pain is, so I could move at all. I did get opiates, which did help me, which are very strong meds, which are actually basically, in this drug direction. So that's really something you don't want to take. And I'm very, cautious and try not to take pain meds if I'm not breaking down and cannot move. So I did therapy, stimulation, current therapy, I did electrotherapy, I did everything, heat therapy. There are so many different kind of things also in my country. When you do into a rehabilitation center, they do everything basically. So I did have a lot of creams, which are more in the not medical, you know, it's more nature things. I had so many people giving me so many advices, and taking a lot of things like magnesium and these kind of things, everything to make it better. And I was at physiotherapy, and I did have a lot of physiotherapists, and I'm lucky that also my cousin is a therapist, so he always gives me also advice. And the only thing that really helps me with that is every day in the morning I do about 15 to 20 minutes my physiotherapy, especially made for me and my problems. It's stretching, Pilates, it's also a little bit of a CrossFit basic line, which helps me because I did also have physiotherapists that are in the CrossFit world. So I do have a lot of inputs on these kind of things, and maybe I will do sometimes a video. I did videos when I was more fat, so maybe I will do a better video when I'm a little bit more, and then you can see the comparison of what I was able to do and what I'm able to do now. It's just a big difference, especially, you know, just doing even little things like, you know, push-ups and sit-ups and these kind of things. I couldn't do it, so I'm really getting better because I'm doing it every day since 1.5 years basically. So that really helps, and you really have to work on that if you have pain. The third thing I do have is Hashimoto. It's your thyroid is just destroying itself. Basically, it's also an autoimmune disease which showed up when they were searching for the MS in the first place. So it's harder also to lose weight when you have that. You have a hormone disbalance, which is also affecting you. So every 6 months, I'm in constant watch of my doctors, also in this kind of direction. I don't have to take meds or these kind of things. It's not required right now, but they have to supervise it. So there, you know, it can happen in a few months, it can happen in a year, that is just, you know, destroying themselves, and then you have to work on that. The other thing is the pain I explained last time. It's on the left side. I do have it now for 1 year. It's an 8 out of a 10 sometimes. It's coming and going in waves. We did check everything. I was at every doctor you can imagine. I was at 3 different family doctors. I was at an internal specialist. We did a Röntgen. We did ultrasonic tests. And these kind of things. So the main reason for people do have pain in this area is also because there are high carb and sugar and these kind of things. So Dr. Berg is explained it amazing. You have to look him up. I'm so allergic to my dog, that's why I'm always scratching my nose. But I love him. And to go keto, or, you know, he's a keto doctor, but actually keto and carnivore should help with these kind of pains if it comes from carbs and these kind of things. But I'm getting worse and not better. So it's not that something is wrong. I can feel that something is moving and not where it should be. It's not something that my body dumps some toxins and these kind of things. It's not that. I can feel it. You can feel the difference when you know your body like I do. Like I told you, I'm in constant watch with a lot of doctors and in constant pain on different kind of variations. So I think that will give you the big picture, why I know what I'm talking about when I say I understand my body, how it works. So I did also the MRT from gallbladder, liver and pancreas because there is a connection. Dr. Berg explains it very well. I thought maybe it's gallstones that are accumulating. Maybe also the liver has some issues, which is also affecting the other topic, I cannot absorb iron. Iron can be absorbed best with vitamin C. I know that. I've been to, I did have infusions, vitamin C infusions, iron infusions. We did make it even and created this environment for my body, so it maybe will work now better, but we don't know what the problem is. Nobody knows, because all the doctors are now really trying to figure this out. And also the K2 you usually take with vitamin D also together, so it works better. So I'm supplementing it right now with fatty foods. Somebody explained this to me, so I'm gonna take this advice to observe it with fatty foods. And there are no liver issues with on the MRT shown up. So what in these kind of things my next moves are, one is the gastrointestinal reflex check maybe, so just to see if they will find something. And the other thing that also can happen, and is also an issue, like I told, I was stupid when I was 19. I did have some breast implants. There was an issue on the left side, which they then inject a lot of pain meds and these kind of things, and since then it is causing also some irritations or problems. You cannot see it, but I can feel it. You know, you cannot feel it from outside if something's wrong, but from the inside I'm always afraid that something is broken, and you know, the plastics and the silicone things, you know, these kind of toxin things that can happen are flowing into my body. That's my biggest fear. And of course I can take them out, but I'm so afraid of every kind of operations, especially having MS and these kind of things. Every stress on my body can cause episodes, and that's why I'm scared of everything with hospitals. And I did have, every time I went to a hospital there was major issues. So I'm just scared of that. I'm really traumatized. So I almost died also when I got my son, because they did cut me during the open me up taking the child, because they were putting me into stress and his heart rates went down, and then they had to cut me up. They cut too much and I was bleeding from inside. They didn't notice, so I was dead. They were like putting me into life again with these things. And so, and one time I also was in a hospital. It was because of my, I don't know how to say it, this one thing which you can put down, it's like blind. I don't know what to say, how it's called in English, but they had to remove it because I was in pain, and they also did the same thing and the same problem. So they had to operate me again, and then they put me on morphine. So yeah, that's my experiences with the hospital. That's why I'm scared as hell, and don't want to do anything. So, but with an MRT of the breasts, maybe we can see if something's wrong. I hope so, that nothing is wrong and I don't require never these kind of operations. But that's why I'm also very sad how the people develop in this direction with all this operation and all these girls. It's just so sad. I see them all around also in my place, because they have no clue what they're dealing with. It's one fear you will have for the rest of your life if you don't put them out, and especially putting them out also can cause a lot of problems, and you can also die on the tables with every kind of operation. And you know, the things are, you know, putting this into your body, so it's you will need to have the best specialists to take them out, actually, so you will be secure, but even then something can happen. So if you're thinking about it, honestly, especially as a woman, maybe because you had children and you know you just want to have a form, don't do it. Really listen to me, don't do it. You will be scared for the rest of your life, even if you're lying on your stomach. Just, even if it looks amazing, of course, you know, you cannot say that. Of course, your dresses maybe look better, but no. Really, believe me, don't do it. Anything, any operation, beauty operations, don't do it. Just don't do it. Then the last, the almost last thing is the IBS and the histamine. It was causing also, I was, you know, having told you what happens when also on Carnivore, especially my histamine was through the roof. I couldn't breathe, my bloating, pains. I had to deal a lot of things, and still do, you know, still eating some stuff I know that will cause my histamine to go through the roof, but I like it, like eggs and these kind of things. So it's difficult for me, you know, to always listen to my body, because it's still, you know, there. I did have a lot of bowel movement problems and these kind of things, but it's getting better. You can look in on Carnivore if you do have a lot of issues still. Look at Rebecca Hashimote. She explained a lot of things I didn't know, especially about histamine and these kind of things, reactions also on Carnivore. So she's really a very good go-to, also with a lot of autoimmune diseases, and I really can recommend her to you. And the last thing we're gonna address, I was overweight, not the specific big overweight, but still my body with all the crap that is going on, this overweight was really affecting and making everything worse. I had 78 kg and I'm 167 centimeters big. Then I lost 8 kg, so at different approaches before carnivore. So my starting point was actually 70 kg, because my weight was going up and down from 67 to 70 kg every day, going up and down. So the highest before I started carnivore, which goes up and down, the highest was 70. And now the highest I go, even if my weight fluctuates, is 65 or 66 basically. So on carnivore, I lost then 4 kg stable, 4 kg, which is not going up and down anymore. So 66 is really the highest I have, even if I eat the wrong things on carnivore and do gain weight. 66 is now the baseline and not 70 anymore. So that's amazing, because I eat more than ever. I don't think about food. I don't think about calorie restrictions and all these kind of things. I just eat, and sometimes I do overeat. Why? Because if you grow up like me, food was always a reward. Food was always a comfort food. I was very alone when I was little because my parents have to work. So I did constantly get money also to go to eat, and I was eating everyday pizza, everyday chocolate bars, every day since I'm a little kid. So that's going from this to carnivore is just, if I can do it, believe me, you can do it, because it's just, my diet was horrifying. And I never did sport. I was always anti-sport. I didn't want to do sport. I did have my peaks for months where I then, oh my God, now I have to do extreme things. And then I did extreme things for 2, 3, 4 months. And then something happened, and always my body broke down, or I had an injury or something, and then I just dropped. And then the depression starting because you're gaining weight, and eating all the time because of the comfort food. So it's a circle which we have to get out. This is why I always say, don't start with gym and all these kind of things when you not usually do that. Start with the food, get your food together, try to lose weight because of the food, and try to figure this out, because everyone I know, everyone who do stand gym things with weights, and especially CrossFit and these kind of things, all of them got injured at some point, all of them. And you cannot, always do it perfectly. Even if they're extremely trained, they got injured. You can look so many people also online. And the problem is, as soon as this happens, you will then automatically gain weight when you start eating the same thing and you don't know your baseline with food. So really, with that kind of things, don't use sport to lose weight. Try at first to figure out what you can eat and cannot eat, even in the worst of your times, when you're very stressed, when you're very sad, when you're very hormonal, whatever it is. Try to figure out what food you can eat and what manage everything for you in the end. So in my weeks now, I do every day in the morning this physiotherapy movement, because I will be in pain. So I know that my brain is not, I'm doing this because of my weight and look better. I do that not to have pain and not to take pain meds. So it's a different approach, and it works for me for now 1.5 years. It's the first thing that I'm really very strict about it. And even if I'm drunk, I can do some things. And one thing that on carnivore, if I eat dairy, if I eat fruit sometimes, or these kind of things, I do tend to overeat, because it stimulates my sweet tooth, and everything that's sweet, it's going overboard. I eat until I almost puke. I'm very extreme. I don't do it on purpose. I cannot control it. I'm really trying to. I did everything, therapist, hypnotherapist. I went, to different approaches on all these kind of things, and watched hundreds and hundreds of people and talk to people how to deal with that. But it's a habit which is there since I'm little, that I can overeat, because I never have to moderate myself. Nobody moderated me. So this is why we have to deal with habits first before we go to these kind of things. So that's basically what we're dealing with. And now you have the whole baseline about my health issues and why I'm really counting into carnivore, because MS, there are a lot of theories, which also because of the Epstein-Barr virus and all these kind of things, it's a little bit too much to explain, but basically food can have a big impact on MS. Food can also have a big impact on Hashimote, all the autoimmune diseases. And maybe this pain I have, also food is impacting it. And of course the histamine, the IBS, the iron, the K2, and the overweight, these are all kind of things that may be better on carnivore, and that's what we are trying to figure out. And I'm very open to everything, I tried everything. I tried vegan, vegetarian, moderating, these kind of things. I tried them all. really tried them hard, had the same approach like I do on Carnivore with these things, and it didn't work for me. And the Carnivore was the first thing that just clicked, and it works better for me, for my body. So everybody is different. For me, this is, I know it's the right approach because it's the first thing I can control. I have first time control over my body, and the things that are going good are just amazing. So I'm done. And I hope you have now a big picture of everything. And yeah, stay tuned with my journey then, because I'm posting every day a video still, and we're gonna figure it out if Carnivore will help me with all this kind of crap. So have a great Saturday, and I now have to let my dog out. Let's say bye-bye. Want to say bye-bye? Bye-bye. Yes, bye-bye. So, bye-bye.
Welcome to my channel, guys. It's so nice to meet you. Here I share you some advice, that's just a preview. Thank you for being nice. Subscribe if I reached you. Yours, Carnivore.